We play and call it work.
Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Sit and Talk. I am Steve from MiniWarGaming.com. I'm here to answer your questions you left on last week's Sit and Talk. It was Quirk Sit and Talk last week, and you left me some questions. I'm going to answer them today. So if you're new to the Sit and Talk format, I'm going to sit here for about 30 minutes or so, go through all the questions that were left, and then if there's more questions, I'm going to go into the MiniWarGaming vault and answer the other 30 minutes or so of questions. And for next week, it's Luca. So if you want to address your questions to Luca, here on MiniWarGaming.com, the video on MiniWarGaming.com, not on YouTube, just so it's easier to get the questions printed off better if you go to our actual website. So I think the comments will probably be disabled here on YouTube if you're watching this on YouTube, but go to MiniWarGaming.com, look for this video in the feed, post your questions there, and they will be answered. Okay, so let's get right to it. I have not pre-screened these questions. I have not pre-read them. I found that it was better off the cuff and more true responses if I do it that way. So let's get right to it. Marjan999, hi Steve. I know that you have some weights somewhere in the building. Actually, not anymore. I want to see all of you break some sweat. Good sweat, not just one from eating spicy chicken wings. Staying healthy is important because I would like to watch all of you for many years to come. Oh, there we go. Got cut off. Gather up the crew and do some bench presses. I would say half the person's weight, or at least a third. That would be great to see Dave. It would be great to see Dave motivate them. It doesn't have to be in a sit and talk. Just make that video, please. Not gonna happen. Yep, not gonna happen. So, for many, many reasons. But I'll go with this one. About a week ago, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, the MiniWarGaming bunker crew who would come in here every morning to use the studio gym. They'd be here like 7 o'clock in the morning. We started around, or they'd be here around 8 o'clock in the morning. We started at 9. So for the first hour, they'd be working out here. But they took all the gym equipment and brought it to the bunker building, which is only a few blocks away from us. But we have nothing here anymore. There's no weights, no treadmill. It's all gone. It's all over in their building now. That's why I can't do it. I totally wanted to do it for you. I'm so sorry. Supreme Bravado, Steve, what was the worst yet creative comment you've ever gotten in a video? Oh man, I honestly, I never know. The worst comment? I actually think of one. It wasn't that long ago. I don't know if I should talk about negative comments. Well, we're gonna do it. So I'm not gonna give screen names because I don't want people to pile on anybody. And if you come across this video with this comment, just leave it alone. Don't get involved. Just stay out of it. But we had a commenter on. It actually wasn't MiniWarGaming. It was actually another channel I was actually on, but it wasn't even MiniWarGaming. It just a guy said something to the effect that the guest made him, I'm trying to choose the polite way of saying this. My guest made him want to murder my guest. He disliked my guest that much. So I very, short replied with, that's kind of immature. And then it was just a long reply of how his comment was clearly helping my guest. Or it's hard to explain. I don't know why I'm telling the story, but I'm not even telling it. We get some weird YouTube comments now and then. That one sticks out, but it's hard to really explain. It just, ever read a comment and you just get a creepy vibe? That's what I got. But for the most part, the comments are all either very supportive or, oh, you did this wrong, or oh, you brought a bad list and never bring X because Y and stuff like that. So they're all very generic comment wise. And it's a good idea to remember it's very hard to read tone in comments. So never take anything too personal. Like I've read comments that I thought were funny, and I replied with a sarcastic joke because I'm trying to join in on the joke. And then the original commenter took it as me being defensive. And it's very easy to forget. You can't understand somebody's tone. So every comment can be terrible, and every comment can be great. But I can't think of anything else that's like really bad or really good, because we have funny ones all the time, and we rarely get really bad ones. Those tend to come in emails. Kill Slim, hi Steve. Oh, I just want to check one thing real quick. I can't see it. Okay, so hi Steve. Can't wait to see the new Deepkin army and the new AOS campaign starting up. Will there be any one of the new campaign? Will they be in one of the new campaigns? How long until they debut on the channel? Thanks, keep up the good work, and happy wargaming. Okay, so as of right now, and I'm fairly confident this is still the case, tomorrow morning, when we upload AOS, which typically isn't done on a Saturday, but now that fantasy is gone temporarily, hopefully, we're having AOS go up tomorrow. And the way we film things, we just kind of started, people request games, they get booked in the calendar up to months in advance. So when a content producer like myself does a pairing of videos, so tomorrow I'll have 2 AOS videos going up. They're not filmed in the same day, and they're not often filmed in the same week, and they're sometimes not even filmed in the same month. So I have a battle report on YouTube tomorrow. Will be a Seraphim versus Legions of Nagash, and then actually a few days ago, I filmed its pairing, which has got my Deepkin. So the Deepkin are going to be in the MiniWarGaming vault tomorrow morning. I would have liked to have got the Deepkin out on YouTube right away, but my next pairing of AOS will be a double Deepkin for sure. I'm still adding more to the army. The Deepkin have got me a lot more interested in Age of Sigmar than I've been in a long time. Like for me, painting is the first and foremost thing that interests me into an army, or to a game, and then the army, obviously. But yeah, you expect a lot of Deepkin coming up real soon. Will they appear in the campaign? Well, I'll say, one, I don't know any specifics for sure. Like, I don't know what Matt has in store. However, yesterday, I'm filming this Friday, and this video is going out today, because I forgot to do it yesterday. But yesterday, we did our Dark Heresy role-playing thing, and during like the super chats in between, like in the breaks and before the show and after the show, I think it was in the middle of the, like during the mid-show break, somebody commented or asked a very similar question about allies in the campaign, and I got a I got a feeling that Matthew, his way he responded, made me believe that we might see some Deepkin as allies for my Sylvaneth in the upcoming campaign. I don't know that's the case, but cross your fingers and maybe. But I think he let it slip. Am I not supposed to say something like that? But I don't know. So it's not really a spoiler. It's just that I got this feeling. Yeah, so expect to see a lot of Deepkin coming up. Okay. Oh, I think I skipped some of these comments. I'll go back to that. So Luke Newcomb asked me that question. Killslim asked, "Hi Steve, does Forge World discontinuing Elysian drop troops and their less popular models in general, some of which are less than 2 years old, affect your own or the studio's future purchases?" No. One, I didn't even know they dropped them. I believe you. Yeah, there's a thing about Forge World, which I like a lot of stuff, but the accessibility of it is it's hurting its own it's hurting its own I don't know, audience market. So yeah, I mean, I would believe drop troops or the Elysians would sell better in a store. Obviously, we all know that, but maybe they're not selling well from, you know, direct only, unless you live in the UK. I think you can buy it. You can buy it in the UK, right? If you like walk into like Warhammer World or something like that. But yeah, direct only for the rest of the world. A lot of things in Forge World, it doesn't affect my future purchases, because what I am currently thinking about, well, see, Forge World for me tends to be a Horus Heresy shopping cart. And we're so, with the exception of Josh, I think everybody's mind is off of Horus Heresy at the moment. I finished painting my Horus Heresy Raven Guard months ago, and I got one game in with them. So yeah, we're just kind of with 8th edition and its older rule set, and the fact that book 8 got delayed and changed what was supposed to come in it. The game's not, no, I won't say limbo. The game's in limbo for us. Like, we're not done with it. But yeah, nobody's really super excited at the moment, and until they start working on the game again, or start, I just need something right now. 8th edition has overtaken it, and it's completely taken most of our attention. And it's a good thing. But that's why Forge World tends to be a Horus Heresy type shopping cart or shopping center for me. Though there are some orc things I like to pick up. I need some Trinorks because they're open topped finally, and you know, Squagoths and gigantic Squagoths. But I probably won't be buying them anytime soon because I got, well, the Deepkin are they're mostly done, but they got bumped to the top of the painting pile. And there's some other projects I'm working on that kind of got bumped to the top of my painting pile, pushing my orcs down and Tau down. And my Dark Angel 30k way down. So yeah, right now I'm working on Deepkin, and right after that I'm moving on to my Orcs Army for Wrath of Kings. Sorry, Kings of War. I was getting those two names mixed up. Both great games. That's not something we're going to cover. It's a personal project. But those are the next two things high on my priority list. But I've been super digging orcs lately for all systems. So I want to get my orcs for 40k bumped up as soon as possible. They were high on my priority list because of Apothis. But things have changed with that. So I think for the foreseeable future, AOS is my high priority. And to go back to your question, maybe I can see myself picking up Dread Saurian, which doesn't, I think that's still for sale. It was last time I checked a few days ago. So I didn't even know the Elysians were no longer for sale. I'm gonna go check what else is missing, but I don't think it affects anybody for the here and now. All right, Bob Joy. Hi, Steve. Will your new Deepkin army have a theme or special backstory? We will love to hear it. Cheers from Sweden. No. So I am not a big fantasy reader. I'm not a big lore reader. I've never, my entire life, I've never been able to get behind fantasy or sci-fi novels. I know it's weird, because I love this genre so much. I love reading the wikias, or I'll spend hours on forums where people discuss, they read like the Horus Heresy novels, for example, and they'll discuss the plot points, and I'll watch that discussion go back and forth, and that's fascinating to me. But reading the actual thoughts and it's hard to explain. I have huge difficulty reading lore on fantasy and sci-fi. So basically, Matthew loves it. Matthew loves it. Matthew loves the AOS lore. Josh loves the Horus Heresy lore. And they both read up everything, and then they fill me in on what I need to know. Because I'll just sit there, you know, cross-legged, and yeah, then what happened? Oh, did he really? That's how I get my lore information. So I have not read the lore from the Battle Tome, though I know Matt has. And then I watched the Warhammer community lore video. So I have a fairly good idea of their backstory, of the history of these Deepkin. Though you can't get a full story unless you read the entire Battle Tome, which Matthew has. And it's filled me in on everything I need to know. But I don't feel like I know enough to create my own backstory yet. But really cool models, super cool models. And the lore is pretty grim and creepy. I dig their lore, like the fact that when they take people and their souls and the houses are empty and people just forgot that, like the villagers forgot that Dave existed because he got taken by the Deepkin, and the house has always just been empty. That's where Dave's house is. Like it's I don't know, it's just really cool. I really like it. Maybe you can write me a backstory for my army. Cormy? Did you mistype your name? It's Corny with an M. Hi, Steve. I've been considering going into Age of Sigmar recently. I have a large collection of fantasy models, but nobody I know plays fantasy anymore. A moment of silence for fantasy. Sad. It's sad. I do find it a bit hard finding the information, what books I actually need to start Age of Sigmar. Do I only need the General's Handbook, or is the actual big rulebook necessary also? What about the battle tomes? Are they needed, or does it work just to use the data sheets from Games Workshop site? Can we also expect Captain Ahab to return? Yes, yes, for sure. I will definitely paint up one day. I know it'll always be one day. I'll definitely paint up some orcs for Age of Sigmar, and Captain Ahab will be there with a new model. Or maybe let's promote him to... Actually, no, he'd be in the 40k universe. Never mind, he'll be a flash kit. Oh no, I also have my Mordheim Captain Ahab. He'll be in both universes. Okay, so what do you need? Well, see, it's hard to... It's not that hard to answer. So what faction do you plan on playing? If you want to play a Battle Tome faction, then yeah, buy the Battle Tome. You'll need the Battle Tome. That means that's I guess you would need the Fire Slayer one, but it's like Fire Slayer, Kharadron Overlords, Seraphim. Do you need the Seraphim one? You don't really need... Okay, so the rules are for free. You can get them on the app, which you can download for free. The General's Handbook is a good idea to have. Now, I think the General's Handbook came out in August. If that's the case, the General's Handbook 2018 is just around the corner. Though, if you want to get some games in now, it's not that expensive. I think it's like 20 bucks. I'd pick up the General's Handbook. General's Handbook is a necessity. It gives you some extra rules and gives you structure for factions like Seraphim, Fire Slayers, Free Peoples, Clan Skyer, Clan Pestilence, Slaves to Darkness, Slaanesh. There's plenty of rules for factions in that book that's quite necessary. Now, if you want to play Deepkin, you can just buy the Deepkin Battle Tome, and that's it. Then again, no, I'd buy the General's Handbook as well, because there's some scenarios and extra rules in there you're going to need. If you plan on playing right now, General's Handbook and your Battle Tome, if it's a Battle Tome army. And if you want to wait a couple months for the 2018, but I don't even know if it's going to come out in August. It could come out in, fall. I don't think it would, but we can't be too far from the next General's Handbook. Oh, I pushed too many buttons. Though it's a fun game. I have never played a game of Age of Sigmar where I didn't have a stupid amount of fun. All right. Volp. Hello, Steve. Are there any models or units that you've always wanted to play with or against that you haven't been able to? Titans, Forge World stuff, etc. What is your favorite food, drink, alcohol? What has been your favorite narrative campaign or game that you played so far? Oh, lots of questions. Okay. A model I want to play with or against that I have not been able to. No, because if I wanted to play with it, I've bought it and painted it already. Or I've bought it and it's sitting on the pile to paint. I've played against everything 30 times. Though, I think I do. See, you asked the question, what model you always want to play with or against. If I can reframe or re-ask your question a different way, a model I've always wanted to paint and haven't had a chance to paint yet, I think I want to paint a Reaver Titan. But will it play with it? Sure. What is your favorite food? Man, I'm a fat guy. I eat everything. I'm a pizza guy, I guess. I like pizza. Drink? I drink a lot of soda for you Americans, pop for you Canadians, and I think Europeans call it pop as well. I drink a lot of Coca-Cola. A lot. Too much. Alcohol, I'm a rye man. I'm not gonna lie, it's what keeps me moving. What has been your favorite narrative campaign or game that you played so far? Okay, so there's two different things actually. My favorite narrative campaign so far would have been the Fate of Fayoum, because it was the first one. I was very, 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 very new to 40k at that time, and it was just it was just a great gaming experience overall. Telling a story, connecting your games, it was just the greatest campaign I've ever been in. But if you ask me what my favorite game was, and it frustrates me because I can't remember which Death Watch. I'm pretty sure it was it was the second Death Watch campaign where Quirk and I played, and the final mission, the very final mission where we're just trying to survive against horde after horde, wave after wave of orcs and enslavers, was the greatest gaming experience in my entire life. Computer, Xbox, tabletop, greatest gaming experience in my entire life. Quirk and I held each other and cried at the end. If you have not seen that video, the finale of the Deathwatch, the second Deathwatch campaign, go watch it. It is the greatest game that's ever been made, ever. The best battle report. Bloodthirsty GM. Hey Steve, your Shadows Beneath crew fails miserably and the new Deathwatch RPG campaign is started to clean up your mess. What character do you play? I'm not. Here's what happened. While reading that question, I kind of tuned out. I'm going to have to read that question again. I wasn't paying attention to myself read that question. Bloodthirsty GM. Hey Steve, your Shadows Beneath crew fails miserably and the new Deathwatch RPG campaign is started to clean up your mess. What character do you play? Okay, so our Shadows Beneath crew is something terrible. And I think you're asking, let's say Matthew makes the next campaign about the Deathwatch cleaning up the mess we made. What character do I play? Terminator. Yep, I'm the Terminator. Chris would be the veteran. Make Josh the Psyker again. I don't know what Luca would be. Just a Salt Marine. Quirk would be a scout that runs. And then we have the Apothecary. Aaron would be the Apothecary. Yeah, I'd be the Terminator for sure. I'll go clear the mess with my Thunder Hammer and Storm Shield. Mop up all that mess. RG210, hey Steve, what's your opinion on beastmen as a faction as a whole in Age of Sigmar right now? Can they keep up with the newer, more powerful factions? What would you add, change to the roster if you think they need a little help? Okay, so with the General's Handbook 2017, if you plan accordingly and have a lot of your stuff in ambush, I think they can do very well. It is an army I would play. I want to play, it's just I don't have the time to paint up that army at the moment. Like at all, but that's something I actually wanted to play, and I want to play a full war herd army. We're nothing but Minotaur, Cygor. What's the other one called? Minotaur, Cygor. There's one more big monster. Just the war herd stuff. I want to play that as well, which goes in with the beastmen. Excuse me, but I mostly just want to paint that. Yeah, if I had the miniatures for beastmen, I'd totally play it, but I don't. So I don't have any really good advice for you. I haven't looked at them in a while because I can't paint them, I can't play them. But yeah, I just remember you want to be in ambush, and there's a lot of synergies and things you can set up with them. Do they need help? No. I think they need a battle tome like everybody does, right? So when they get a battle tome, they'll be fine. Hey, the next question is from Vito Verano. He is in the MiniWarGaming bunker crew, unless there's another Vito Verano out there, which there could be. Hey Steve, what are your thoughts on the update to Horus Heresy 7.5. Do you still enjoy playing 30k, or has your interest been sparked elsewhere? Ciao Pisano, love it is okay. Love from the bunker, Vito. See, I don't read these questions. Yeah, okay. Vito, buddy. Horus Heresy 7.5 is awesome, or would have been awesome a year and a half ago. I just think the massive changes to 8th edition have just been better overall. I'd like to see Horus Heresy move to 8th edition rule set. The vehicle rules in 7th edition were terrible. Wow. Yeah, I didn't like them. I'll call them terrible. I guess terrible's a little harsh. I wasn't a big fan of them. Having most things be able to be one-shotted. Yeah. Like, I had a game... Actually, I don't want to give spoilers, but I had a game where my opponent had a lot of vehicles, and my orbital bombardments on turn 1 were hitting multiple vehicles and not killing multiple vehicles, but, stunning and shaking, doing enough so that they're not doing anything on turn 1. I think 8th edition, while not perfect, has really shone a light on the failure of vehicles in 7th edition, where you're just better off. Your monsters were the thing. Monsters were where it's at, and heavy weapons. And I've Snapfire is something I Space Marine snapfiring doesn't seem, it seems to make less sense now after playing 8th edition, oddly enough. So Horus Heresy is still the greatest 40k timeline, the greatest lore, the greatest game a year and a half ago. I just like to see it update to an 8th edition rule set, though 7.5, if you want to call it that, video is actually very well done. I like it. It's just, when you compare it to apples, it's a better apple. But when you compare it to the shiny new orange of 8th edition, I happen to prefer oranges, if that makes sense. Gold Tooth 7, hi Steve, are there any crazy stories from 40k games that you can tell us? Yes, so there was this Deathwatch campaign. Go watch the finale of Deathwatch, the second Deathwatch campaign. It was, just watch that video. Like I said, Quirk and I were, you know, crying in each other's arms at the end of the game. Do we have time for more? Do we have time for more? Yeah, I need a couple more in. Aaron, hey Steve. Where did I go? I flipped it. Hey Steve, it's that guy you did that thing to. Hey buddy. We made it. Before I go on, I'm gonna just give you a little backstory to that little comment. Aaron came in for a game, and he just happened. You know what? I'll read his question. I think he's gonna answer some of it. Hey Steve, it's that guy you did that thing to, that thing with the Drukhari. I want to get more into AS because I like the game, but my Bloodbound just seemed to take forever to paint with lots of small detail. Do you have any recommendations for a quick to paint army that has a battle tome on already? I'm leaning towards Stormcast or Ironjaws. Yes, actually all three can be done pretty fast. I'll give you some tips on that. So when I have to do a review type battle report, we don't have the luxury of picking an experienced like I'm doing the Drukhari review game. I don't have the luxury of picking an experienced Drukhari player to play against, and we have a tactical discussion afterwards. It's the next guy who comes in line. Aaron was the next guy who came in line, and this is where we're finding out how powerful the Drukhari are. And Aaron, what did you play, buddy? I can't remember what you played. What? You were playing... I can't even remember what you played, buddy. I remember our game, but not what you played. I just remember... we just made a joke about, it's exactly this. I won't remember what we played, but I remember you as the guy I had to do that to. I had to do the Drukhari to. So I just played Drukhari with a lot of blasters, and it was gross. I remember you had the Death Corps and Space Marines. That video went on already, right? There was no spoilers in that. AOS is a pretty fun game. So Stormcast are really easy to paint. Ironjaws can be, but Stormcast can be really easy to paint. But if you want to get your Bloodbound painted really fast, I know Reavers take some work because you got to all that skin. But I mean paint it Elven Flesh, whatever. Throw on Reichland Flesh Shade, and then get the high areas with the Elven Flesh again, or Kislev Flesh I think it's called now. But for the Khorne guys in the Bloodbound, how I did them, it's very you spray them black, throw on red with just always, it's hard to explain. Just always bring your brush on a downward stroke and a wide brush, so you're kind of like leaving the under parts of the panels kind of black still, but just red from the top down, and then paint on the gold brass and wash the whole thing with brown, and then you just quickly throw on some highlights on some of the brass or the gold, and then quickly throw on little bits of red as a highlight. I found they painted up ridiculously fast. But even faster, you can just go ahead and do the Liberators. The fastest way I can see doing all Stormcast is you get an Army Painter brown spray, prime with that, not too thick, have a nice thin prime, and then spray them with Retributor Gold, I think it's called, in the can, from the top. I got a 45-degree cone all the way around, so if you look them all on the bottom, you still see the brown, but if you're looking at it from the side, he's a gold model. And then the Agrax Earthshade Gloss, and then I think it's called Gyphoon, not Griffin, Gyphoon golden dry. Just wait till that shade is completely dry. Use the dry, which I'm not a big fan of the dries typically, but I like the Gyphoon gold and the Necron compound. Get it off on a paper towel and dry brush the whole model. The model's 95% done. I'll just put a little blue or whatever color you want inside the shoulder pad. Paint on the little scroll ribbons with the color. Throw some brown ink on that. You're done. So yeah, the Stormcast Eternals can be really fast. I remember when they first came out, doing 2 box sets in literally just a couple of hours, like 2 starter sets. I think I should end it here. But there are some more questions which I'll answer in the MiniWarGaming Vault right now. So if you're not already a Vault member, you can click the link below in the description to go over to the Vault and watch me answer the remainder of these questions. When you're there, you can also go to the website and leave comments for Luca, who will be the next week's Sit and Talk host. Thanks for watching, everybody. Happy wargaming.